Hey, how you doing, folks? It's Billy. We had a great day today, 21 March 2025. Do you believe in mind control? I got a great video. You're going to listen to Brian Fenton from Notre Dame and his Navy classmate from a few years ahead about where we're truly going with some angelic channeling. But first, let's address mind control.
What we have built is a global national security state, which is fantastically expensive. And there are many different component parts from the underground bases to the secret space program. But essentially, I call it the tapeworm. It is a financial parasite that is simply, harvesting and destroying great parts of the economy. One of the things you see is all the different fraudsters and money networks seem to have a proclivity for investing in advanced research. So Madoff, some of the money that disappeared through Madoff went to MIT brain research. Some of the money that went through Epstein went to MIT brain research. And I happen to think that a lot of the political problems we're facing right now, the biggest one is mind control. And I think if you look at how much money has gone into manipulating human beings, manipulating their minds, accessing their minds, building the kind of NSA surveillance we know we have, you're trying to build a global mind that can be centrally controlled. And I think a fantastic amount of money has gone into that research.
Absolutely. And that ties into the DARPA Brain Initiative and also serial
Right.
scamsters like Elon Musk and his Neuralink and things like
Ah!
that.
I think the most important issue before every one of us is, are we going to be part of a society which is human, or are we going in a society that's lawful, or are we going to be part of a society where inhumane practices prevail? And if you look at what some people call transhumanism, we've now started a Solari to call subhumanism. I think we're talking about central control, applying technologies in ways which are indeed slavery. I think they are subhuman and unacceptable. And as a society, what's important is not money. What is important is, are we going to be a human society? Are we going to be individual beings who are sovereign under divine authority? Or are we basically going to be natural resources like oil deposits?
Whoa, that's an interesting way to look at it. There's great content ahead. We're going to hear Ashtar, and then we're going to listen to some great humans from Notre Dame talk about their successes and very humbly share leadership. Watch.
Dear brothers and sisters, I am Ashtar, and I am here today to deliver this transmission directly from the Galactic Federation of Light. I want to clarify some inaccurate information coming to your planet about Mars. When Anunnaki, Orions, and reptilians occupied this planet to collect more parties to attack your Mother Earth and start their operation of eliminating humans now, instead of waiting for the shots to kill the people on Earth. They needed for the Luciferians to come and help them. My fleet, together with alliances, have been daily eliminating their underground bases on Mars. Their presence there creates a danger not just for humankind, but also for the whole Milky Galaxy. The negative entities collected a lot different kind of deadly technologies to destroy and create chaos on Earth and around the surrounding planets. Do you think we, the Galactics, are just going to sit and watch peacefully and allow for them to follow their dark agenda through? Absolutely not. We are not going to let this happen. Not anymore. We had a...
Okay, remember now, folks, Mars has a huge sub-labyrinth, subsurface. And when Genghis Khan passed away, he was awarded that. You heard about the combination of extraterrestrials that are out there, and we're a part of it. So through the soul swap process, that being exchanged bodies with Joseph Biden. he ran his course. Trump's got it now. He's Julius Caesar. And we're catching up on what's happening with Mars today. 21 March 2025. That's day 181 on the Mayan calendar.
Enough of their dirty tricks and manipulations. My team and alliances are working very hard to remove all of them from Mars. We did in the past more than once, so we have enough experience on how to handle
Princess Diana is
all
alive.
of the portals are sealed, so
She was
Luciferians can't make an
abducted.
appearance to join them. I already mentioned in my previous message about what we have
Charles
done so
Sidoti.
far. They
Two
keep
reptiles.
reappearing and placing
It's
themselves
only
on
3
Mars
light
in a
minutes, and there's a
chance
jumper
to
program
I am
with
aware of their
multiple
plans, and the Galactic
places
Federation
to
is going to completely remove the negative
move
souls
there.
from Mars for good. The Earth needs to have their own fleet,
It's
so you can
multi-dimensional.
protect yourselves from these dark souls. And this is going
They've
to
been
happen
flying
in
from
the upcoming
Antarctica
future.
since
The
Vannevar
Mars
Bush
planet has no life on the
and
surface.
Raytheon.
In the past, a couple of civilizations lived together until they went to war with each other and destroyed everything on the surface of the planet. Right now, you can only be on the inside of Mars, underground. Recently, our patrolling ships encountered with the Dark One ships in Sweden over the city called Uppsala. Their goal was to kill a few light workers using the DO technology, the same weapon which was used in California, United States, to start fires. DO is a directed energy weapon that can be used to kill anyone,
Satellite
start
based.
fires, destroy vehicles, and
It's
buildings.
refracted energy.
This was not the first
Pacific
time that they
gas
tried to
and
injure
electric.
or kill someone using this technology. We always try to prevent these types of situations if we can. Some of you
Okay, so there's a big joint with the National Science Foundation and all the military called HARP up in Fairbanks, Alaska. That's on the surface of this planet. We also have life subsurface. I will include on the cover of my video the cartograph that Admiral Byrd drew with a legend that shows the depth of our crust at 800 miles, give or take. There's a city called Agartha down there, and 13 Hopi went down from the Sphinx to Agartha. The Amenti sphere was in place to cause awareness equaling genetic modification for those 13 volunteers. And that's truth. They ascended up and they meditated the 3 mesas into place. Fire. Mars brought the thumbs. Wind. Plasma. Earth. The water. You move those fingers around, you got 13 times 2, that's 26. 3 mesas in place. Al-Natak, Al-Nilam, and Nintaka.
are questioning on who speaks the truth and who doesn't. So get the correct answer. Please, open your heart or soul and listen. Don't attack or criticize each other. This
Where
is
were
not
you
helping the
during any
process
of this?
ascension. You are making the
The moon
corrupted
has a
souls
dark
very
side. They had a
especially
soul
when you
trap
attack
machine
the
there.
channels. Also, I want to let you know that I don't communicate with many channelers, as I am too busy trying to finish up this important mission of assisting with your ascension process and
This
protecting
is
your world from
Ashtar.
the dark forces. I am grateful to be here today and send this transmission through the universal channel. Thank you. Be the truth. Ashtar channel. Arena Velasquez next message. The facade must fall, you can handle the truth. For it has been being leaked out, filtered out, for some time now. But as many of you are noticing, it is becoming more and more so as the truth comes out in larger and larger quantities. In other words, more truth is coming forward. And there is nothing at this point that can stop the truth from coming forward. For many of the light working community, many have stepped back, stepped out in their power, and are bringing these truths to you now. Many that are not even considered, underscore bringing audio underscore, are also bringing out the truth now. Even some politicians, they are not all evil.
Like RFK Jr., I guess. Can you handle the truth? Jack Nicholson, all about Gitmo, Tom Cruise on the bench with the Cougar, and Kevin Pollak in the third seat. He says he's Count Saint Germain. So that channeling was Black Eyed Presents. It's on YouTube, and I encourage you to watch it. I'll include a little more footage, and then we'll call this another update from an intel officer, not retired, Billy the Kid, Irishman. Don't forget, Brian Fenton is a Notre Dame ROTC graduate, and he runs United States Special Operations Command now. Okay, this is a little bit parochial. It's a Notre Dame self-love ceremony. But let me tell you what, the folks that are moderating as well as in ideas deserve all the credit in the world. Listen to the name of the school and you get some idea of what we're talking about. Michael Nostradamus, Notre Dame, the commander of JSOC, who rose up the U.S. SOCOM. So let's listen to what they're talking about here on this 21st of March, 2021. But it's 2025 already, so that's the correct date.
The Associate Vice President for Federal and Washington Relations in Notre Dame's Washington office. Laura was an obvious choice to moderate this panel, not only as an alum working in our nation's capital on behalf of the university, but also because of the incredible military credentials that she brings in defense and international security, things that our two guests are well versed in. In addition, Laura has extensive previous service as a senior civilian leader at the Department of Defense, as a longtime defense policy advisor on Capitol Hill, and more than a decade as an intelligence officer in the U.S. Navy Reserve. Wow. Please join me in welcoming Laura McAleer, who will introduce our distinguished.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Dolly shared, this is a conversation I've been so excited about ever since she first raised this idea with me. As a fellow Notre Dame alum who spent most of my career in national security, it doesn't get much more special than this. First off, honored to introduce Admiral Chris Grady, Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, our nation's second highest ranking military officer. And like Dolly, he is a proud member of Notre Dame's class of 1984. He is commissioned through Notre Dame's Naval Reserve Officer Training Corps program. A career surface warfare officer, Admiral Grady has served our nation for almost 4 decades on multiple naval vessels, in various command assignments at home and while underway, and in increasingly impactful leadership posts. Most recently, Admiral Grady served as Commander of Fleet Forces Command. Next, General Brian Fenton, who currently serves as Commander of U.S. Special Operations Command. Notre Dame class of 1987 and commissioned into the Army his senior year. General Fenton is a career Green Beret who has deployed multiple times to Afghanistan and Iraq and participated in operations in Bosnia, Somalia, Yemen, the Philippines, and Colombia. General Fenton previously served as the Commander of Joint Special Operations Command and was a senior military advisor to multiple Secretaries of Defense. So truly remarkable careers and impact from both of you, which we'll explore in greater detail during our conversation. But from the outset, let me say we are immensely proud to have you representing the university and our Notre Dame family, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So first off, question, what dorms were you in?
Yeah, go Big Red, kill it. If you live to South alumni, you can leave.
Let's hear it for Flanner. Come on up for Flanner. Yeah. In fact, it was obviously so important to this university to get turned into one of the administration buildings. To keep that legendary, iconic legacy going. I see some Flannerites there in the back. Go
And Mine was Walsh Hall, so I guess I'll be partial to Southwood. But the Notre Dame pride and association runs deep in both of you, even in the years since graduation. And Notre Dame has a way about bringing out that passion. So can you tell us both a little about your own Notre Dame personal story? What brought you to Notre Dame? Why ROTC? And why a career in the military? And Adam, we'll start with you.
Yeah, sure. I looked really hard at institutions and had what I thought were the attributes to make a great citizen in the future. There were several, lots of opportunity there, and it came down to Notre Dame and the Naval Academy. I remember the day that I had laid on the table in front of my parents my acceptance letter to ND and my nomination to the Naval Academy, acceptance to the Naval Academy. It was a really hard decision, and when I thought further about it, it was the God country Notre Dame that Notre Dame embodies that was really important to me. It was that 40-year decision that we hear people talk about all the time. And there was one other piece of paper that was there, and it was a welcome letter from the fencing team. And that kind of put me in. You ask about military service, it's kind of family business.
I did ROTC, went
My
in
son,
81,
who
guy
was
went in
was a service warfare
84
officer as
and
well, is a
still
Notre
in.
Dame grad class of
That's
12.
pretty impressive.
Nick is 5th generation, so there's Nick, and there's me.
Benton was 87. We'll talk about his time supporting sport.
So there's Nick is a naval officer. I'm a naval officer. My grandfather my father was a naval officer. My grandfather was a Marine. We don't talk
That's
about
Navy.
that much, but yeah, he was a Marine for 25 years, and then my great grandfather was a lieutenant in the Spanish-American War. So 5 generations.
Wow.
And so that was a little bit of the family business and
That's
why I'm
Army.
here today.
Just a little bit of history there.
Not too much.
General, what
Great.
about you? What brought you here?
First of all, I'm just hoping I get college credit for that history class right there. I need it. Hopefully nobody's looked at my grade sheet from being here. Maybe I just elevated standing. Mine actually started with my parents and my grandparents. My grandparents on my dad's side, he's sitting here in the front row. We're from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but we grew up in Tennessee. And as
John
a kid,
Wayne is from
all I
there.
ever
He
heard
was
about was Fighting
Oxys.
Irish football. Fighting Irish this, Fighting Irish that. So the propaganda started early.
Don
In the
Carfagna was from
household.
that area too.
And with my grandparents being from Ireland, it just seemed like a natural choice,
Me too.
at least to apply and then to hope to get in. And when the letter came in and said that you're accepted, you'll be the other place. And I think that as I think about it,
I
it was the
applied
right
to
place
Loyola
for
University
me,
in Maryland and
on
was
all
rejected
counts. Great friends, I'm standing in the back.
because I
I
had
got a chance to,
2.45 cum.
Meet here
But I
from all over the world that
was
I
able
would
to
not
get
have had
into
the chance
Oxford
if I
thanks to
probably stayed
Captain
close
Marty
from
and
home. Certainly
when
throughout
I
all
won
the
my
United States.
scholarship against
And
all
it
odds.
just it continued the idea that this place was God country Notre Dame. What would you fight for in every piece of its being?
Touchdown, Jesus,
In military
touchdown.
service, it transitioned into that. You can't go many
I'm sure
places.
these guys learned
we
about
talked about this before,
Nostradamus since
where
the
somebody
school was named
camp,
after
post,
him,
or station,
and it's Our
locations
Lady.
overseas, who doesn't pop out and say, "Oh, did you go to Notre Dame?" Yes. And
So they're
these stories
unashamed
begin.
of that.
They're
The
graduate.
man on the left
they're
shows
part of
it
a Subway
over at
alumni,
Malcolm.
they just love Notre Dame because they've heard about it really all over.
He
So
looks just like the
I think
big
that
humor
brand,
man, like
having
Admiral
Irish
McRaven.
immigrant parents and many other things.
Of course, he was awarded the University of Austin.
That
and
idea
the
about 4 years
chancellorship
for
there
a 40-year plus
And
lifetime,
Michelle
absolutely.
is endowed.
Well, I
If
think
you
your
know what
story
I
is
mean.
probably similar to many of the students here today.
They must know
So I'd like to
this
dig in a
and
little bit
laugh
more
at
to your
it
time here when you were on campus
when
as
they're
students.
hanging
And
out with Blue
obviously,
Holtz and
both of you were
Diggerfeld.
underachievers.
The whole crew. You know, Lawrence Taylor got a hold of Joe Theismann. Boom.
I'll take that, yes, I will.
Seriously,
The first 18 months, that was sure true.
Oh, yeah.
you both carried a very heavy load while
They
you were
got a
here.
mascot. I mean,
So
come
in
on, all these
addition
colleges
to
have mascots.
the university's longstanding ROTC programs, we also have student leaders that are active in so many
They
things,
have
and you all
ROTC,
were both
University
part
of
of
Colorado
athletics while you were
Boulder.
here. So let's talk a little bit about
Good
that.
looking
General Fund,
staff,
we'll start with you. Can you tell us about your time as a student manager with the football team and legendary coach Lou Holtz?
I can. But, you know, I just got the rules of the road. You heard that the Vice is the second highest ranking officer
So
of
this
our
is his
entire
way of
military.
showing
So
humorous
all the hard
respect.
questions, I would say, need to go to the Vice. I'll take the easy ones. This one is specifically for me. It's easy. I think I came to Notre Dame
Look at all the
certainly
lights.
thinking about sports.
He's wearing a
Envision
traditional
that
Class A
that I
uniform.
might make the military a career. Not when I first got here. We didn't have, a population lived around us in Tennessee that were heavily military, so I didn't really know a lot about the military, but I knew a lot about sports. I knew I loved sports and wanted to be part of a team. When I first got here, I was working with the basketball program, so I did a year with Digger Phelps. And in that, you certainly kind of reinforce this idea of high standards, teamwork, and what it means to be part of a team and contribute to an overall good. Moved into football, and it was my last year as a senior when Lou Holtz came. And I can tell you, I think as a student, I didn't know who Lou Holtz was at that time. Maybe I didn't know, I wasn't reading the papers or really paying attention. Because there was a point where we thought maybe Don Shula or somebody else would come after Coach Faust left. But when Coach Holtz got there, you knew after about a second that was the right guy to be here.
Coach, he
Established
coached in the
record.
NFL. The
He
Redskins.
walked into
at
an
least.
auditorium just like this, and his stories are legendary, and I happened to be in their first meeting. And he set the standard for what Notre Dame and Notre Dame football was going to be for the next 10 years for sure. And under him, I think
So
I
Brian
took
Fenton's
a
into
number of things away.
partnerships.
First, the idea that you set a high standard and help people achieve things they can't even imagine for themselves, but you knew it for them all along. Second is this idea of it has to be a perfect plan to have perfect execution. And I'd never really seen that before in the world with Coach Holtz. The guy, meticulous
Their
and
fencing coach, they
disciplinarian
think a
as
lot
well,
of
and
too.
didn't meet the standard.
But please know,
And
he's
then
not going to
third,
talk about it in this interview, but Delta Force sees the Dyson Sphere a couple of years ago in January, which was on Mercury. Dyson, like the vacuum cleaner, copyright, coming right off onto that artificial planet. So they've got a traveling device that looks like the Washington Monument. It's got all the ergonomics. You point that thing and shoot it, and away they go. And you don't know that, but he does, because he's read it, and he's compartmented, and he's a member of the Great White Brotherhood. This is Delta Force that supports Source. It's the Force spot. Isn't that cool? And God bless this guy Grady. Number 2 spot in DOD right now. We're in good shape. In spite of Trump and Vance and these other bozos at the top.
Talk a lot about this in our military, about leadership. That people want energy. Right? There's a whole bunch of hard work in the world. There's a whole bunch of downers.
Taking care of your
both
people
Donnies and Debbie's.
and
downers.
being a role model.
But if you get somebody who's got energy and passion, and Coach Holtz had all that, they can take you to the moon. And whether it was his magic tricks or his jokes or what he was doing in terms of trying to talk us down, but he really believed in us in order to fake an opponent out. Coach Holtz every day when he walked on that field, he meant business.
And he was the water
But
boy.
he was an energetic and he was a happy leader, and in a way that I think certainly has impacted many of us that were part
Probably
of this.
very motivational. Hey man,
It was great to be a part of
good
it.
down. Maybe
Well,
give some
transitioning,
advice.
yeah,
He went to Force.
so transitioning from one legendary program to another, Admiral, you were captain of Notre Dame's fencing team, which is a world-class fencing team for quite some time. So tell us, how did you manage responsibilities to the team,
I didn't
your
know
ROTC
this.
duties, and your academic load?
Frank
And were
Phillips
there
goes
any early
fencing.
leadership lessons that you learned, like General Benton just shared with us, that you
He's
carried
a
forward
pop
today?
star ROTC.
By the way, which sports program has the most national championships?
The New York Yankees.
So there is that. 4 notes, 5 years every day. So pretty impressive. First, let's hear it for Coach
That's
Holtz.
cool, though.
I mean, one more time.
Big Lou.
So I'm a firm believer that you have to take a big place and make it smaller. And you can certainly do that with your major. You can certainly do that
All
with
the
ROTC,
analogies.
which was something that was really important to us.
I mean,
And you
accomplishments
can
of
do
these
it with
guys,
other
in
things
spite of
that
a
you-
military that just goes to
that you
war
choose
and
to do.
fights
That
the
happened to be
Navy
fencing
is
for
a
me,
disgrace.
going forward. I'm going to
They're
talk about
supporting
another
the Abraham Command
and
over there,
that's legendary Coach
compartmented.
Mike Pacheco. And
So that
if you've
conflict
been
is
around
coming
Notre
to
Dame
an
long
end.
enough,
Not
you
only
know
the
who I'm
Palestinians
speaking
and the
about.
Israelis,
Just
true
an
false
incredible
peace.
guy. I would sum up
Well, they had the
his
true false peace, a
mantra,
real
his
peace.
theory of the fight.
And Ukraine and
as
Russia
culture of
coming to
excellence.
an end too.
And in that, he would impart to us
So we'll have
that
peace.
you will
Coming.
be more prepared than anyone else.
There's a Russian
You will
Orthodox
have a
Church
plan
at the
and go
east
out
gate
and
of
execute.
Jerusalem.
He would say, if you were having a
Vlad
tough
Putin's
match, he'd
Russian
pull you aside,
Orthodox.
he'd call timeout, and he'd say, with
He
you,
was
say, take
baptized
your
and
mask
told
off.
put on to
They'd
that.
take it off, and he'd be whispering, and he'd be fuddling with the hookup, right? Because that was, you know, he wasn't supposed to coach.
We have Joseph
So he was
McMonitor,
fuddling with the
remote
hookup, and he
viewer
goes, what is your
001.
plan? And then you tell him,
He had
they
a
said,
book.
then go do it.
Put it out.
And then the final thing was
Head of the Russian army asked him to
And
autograph
even though
it
it's an
because he
individual
identified
sport,
the Boomer
Notre Dame
class
fencing is so
submarine from
successful
Russia.
because
And
of the
Putin
depth of
knows
the
all
bench.
this. He
And
knows what
a
Tesla did.
recognition and
There's a new
it's
video
all
on
about
Tesla
the
that I'm
people
gonna
you
show.
serve with. I took
And
that with me.
a minute,
This idea
just to
of
listen
a
to these
culture
two
of
gentlemen
excellence that like the Chico
and talk about a man from
I
Venus
wasn't the best
who's in
fencer
the
on
Rock
the team by
Coalition.
far. It was a team of Olympians. I would guess you would call me a walk-on, and then I got my monograms, you know, sophomore, junior, and senior year. There were people who were way better than I was, but somehow they voted me to be the captain. And there was a lot of faith and confidence put in me by Coach DeChico. Let me just pivot that then, this idea of a culture of excellence, of preparation, of planning and execution, and of recognizing the center of the universe, which is our people. For Brian and I, it's
Plans
soldiers,
change,
sailors,
you gotta be
Marines,
good.
Guardians, and Coast Guard.
And be
That's the
organized.
center of the universe.
So thank both
for
these
us
men
now.
for
When it translates then, this culture of excellence,
having
this
comprehension
commitment,
of leadership.
translates to the oath of office that
Let's
both he and I have
listen to
taken. We've taken it, what, 14,
things
15
Nikolai
times now.
Tesla did, like
In
Tunguska.
it, it's a pretty,
Speaking
it's
of
a pretty
remote
simple
viewing,
oath of office. It's about 100 words. My favorite part of it, when you listen to it, talks about the well and faithfully part. The well part is do your job really well. Be competent, be excellent at what you do. And then the faithfully part speaks to being part of something bigger, and in this case, the Constitution, right?
okay,
And I
you
think
can
that
have
started
that,
with
that funds
understanding
to
that
prisons,
it's
but
all
you
about
get
the
his
people
point.
you serve, and in our
All right,
case, it's the
we're pressing
Constitution.
on.
And the United
Hey Alexa, who is Ra?
Ra, also referred to as Re, was a prominent deity in ancient Egyptian religion. He was primarily associated with the noonday sun and was considered a major deity in the ancient Egyptian pantheon. Ra was believed to be a central figure in the Egyptian belief system, representing the concept of the sun and its beneficial effects on the world. He was also associated with creation, fertility, and rebirth, and was considered a symbol of kingship and power. By the way, you have a new notification. Do you want to hear it?
No. Hey Alexa, continue music. So Ra is a collective, a coalition. Nikolai Tesla is a member. Think 1100 and Egypt. He was from Venus, but from Serbia in this life. So we're going to listen to a disclosure regarding Nikolai Tesla. New information, all shall be revealed.
Mr. Tesla, you've gained the glory of the man who got involved in the cosmic processes. Who are you, Mr. Tesla?
It's an interesting question, Mr. Smith, and I'll try to give you the right answer.
Some say you're from the country of Croatia, from the area called Lika, where together with the people are growing trees, rocks, and starry sky. They say that your home village is named after the mountain flowers, and that the house, where you were born, is next to the forest and the church.
Really, everything he said is true. I'm proud of my Serbian origin and my Croatian homeland.
Futurists say that the 20th and 21st century was born in the head of Nikola Tesla. They celebrate conversely magnetic fields and sing hymns to induction engines. The creator was called the hunter who caught the light in his net from the depths of the earth, and the warrior who captured fire from heaven. Father of alternating current will make the physics and chemistry dominate half the world. Industry will proclaim
Free energy.
the supreme saint, a banker to the largest benefactors. In the laboratory of Nikola Tesla, for the first time, is broken atom. There's created a weapon that causes the earthquake vibrations. there are discovered black cosmic rays. 5 races will pray to him in the temple of the future because they have
John Trump got his paperwork.
elements can be watered with the life.
Donald John Trump's uncle
Yes, these are some of my most
took it to CERN.
discoveries. Yet, I'm a defeated man. I've not achieved the greatest of my goals.
There's dark and light.
Mr. Tesla.
And dark is dark. They work together. This man died penniless, feeding pigeons, and left us with free energy.
Humanity is not
His antenna was wrecked by
Colorado Springs
J.P. Morgan.
impregnated the earth with electricity.
He said, if you can't put a meter on it, I don't want it. So he was helping out Westinghouse.
Or Mozart, or in the
He
verses
worked
of the great poets. Inside
on Long Island.
there are energies of joy, peace, and love.
1908, saying hello to Admiral Perry.
That grows from the earth.
Overshot him, Tunguska.
Everything that makes it the home of man. I've spent years looking for ways that this energy could influence people. The beauty and aroma of the roses.
He left us with a lot, and he's alive.
Sun's rays as food. Life has an infinite number of forms.
Just like Yeshua ben Joseph. We're all alive with tapestry. So again, he was from Venus, born in Serbia or Croatia.
What are these things? One problem is food. What energy, stellar or terrestrial, can feed the hungry of the earth? With what wine can thirst be watered, so that people can cheer their heart and understand that they are gods? It is another thing to destroy the power of evil and the suffering in which man's life passes. Sometimes they occur as an epidemic in the depths of space. In this century, from Earth to the universe. The third thing is there's an excess of light in the universe. I discovered a star that, according to astronomical and mathematical laws, could disappear, and still nothing would change. That star is in this galaxy. Its light can be emitted with such density that it fits into a sphere smaller than an apple, and at the same time heavier than our solar system. Religions and philosophies teach that man can become the Christ, Buddha. What I am trying to prove is revolutionary and almost inaccessible. It is what must be done in the universe so that each being is born as Christ, Buddha, or Zarathustra. I know that gravity is adverse to everything I have to fly.
Have
and my
ears to
intention
hear.
is not to make flight devices, aircraft, or missiles, but to teach the individual to regain consciousness of their own
Buddha,
race.
the
I'm also
samsara.
trying to
Yeshua
awaken
studied
energy
Buddhism.
in the air. There are major energy sources. What is considered as empty space is only a manifestation of matter that is not awake. There is no empty space on this planet, nor in the universe. Black holes, of which astronomers speak, are the most
Convoluted.
sources of energy.
Do you see it? Can you read it? Dolores Cannon, Book 1. That's it. There are illuminated bloodlines, 13 of them. Light or dark, Hammerstein, the quadrant of behavior. Intelligent and lazy, intelligent and industrious, stupid and industrious, and stupid and lazy. Fit in somewhere, learn. Hammerstein put it together. Hammerstein, he tried to get over. Alright, so this is on YouTube.
I did not. There are 2 points of view. Either one has much affection or nothing at all. The middle
fed
point
pigeons.
serves to rejuvenate the human race. Women, for certain, men nourish and strengthen their vitality and spirit.
Women.
Being alone goes the same.
Did you
to
hear
other people.
Eldora?
I chose that second path.
Your admirers are complaining that you are attacking relativity. The strange is your assertion that the matter has no energy. Everything is imbued with energy. Where is it?
First was energy
The
and
great
then
genius,
matter.
not much.
My super instant mesmerizer, it never fails. Okay, boys, carry him out.
Men in Black.
My super instant mesmerizer, it never fails. Okay, boys, carry him out.
Men in Black.